What's up, my brothers from another mother? I want to do this video today on tribes. I was actually considering on releasing this just for my community, but I think it's really valuable, so I wanted to try to water it down a little bit to make it YouTube friendly and kind of get into some details about why men are tribal and the importance of forming tribes and drawing perimeters around them and making sure that you protect those, because they're a lot more important than what guys think. There's a lot of guys that really truthfully don't understand the value. Let me start by saying this. If you haven't read Jack Donovan's books, he's kind of a masculinity, sort of tribalism author. The Way of Men is an excellent read. It is pinned in the top description in my Amazon bookstore. So if you scroll down to the top description that's pinned, you'll see a link for Amazon store, and there'll be some products there. Go to the books and take a look at the books that I recommend. His book is there. Definitely take a look at it. Basically, with men, we form tribes. We have always operated in an us versus them sort of environment. It's always been that way. It's always going to be that way. That really isn't going to change anytime soon, despite all of the narratives that you hear from the liberalists and the globalists trying to convince everybody to embrace and accept and be more inclusive and all that. That's not how humans are hardwired. Sapiens are hardwired in a tribal fashion. We operated as nomadic hunter tribal gatherers for millions of years before we created, civilizations like we live in today, where I get to drive on a road in my car to the next city and I have access to airports and trains and electricity and all that kind of shit. We operated in very small tribes, usually around 150 would be the max, I believe, ideally under that. But that hasn't changed, and that really won't ever change. You've got to understand that there's concentric circles that you have to draw. Jack Donovan calls them perimeters in his book, and you have to identify who gets to be on the inside and who's on the outside, and that is what defines the us versus them characteristics. Now, why is this important? Well, there's certain things that people on outside tribes don't get access to that people on the inside tribes. So I guess the easiest way for me to illustrate it is picture a archery bullseye, painted with a big red dot and then a bunch of concentric circles coming out from that. So in my inner circle, for example, in my inner tribe, that would be people like, my brothers, like basically guys that I would rely on. If they showed up at my front door at 3 o'clock in the morning with a shovel in hand and said, I got a problem in the trunk, I need you to help me, I would be there, and they would do the exact same thing for me. These are the kind of men that if you're going through your divorce, you could call them up and say, dude, some bad shit just went down and I had to leave the house. I'm 5 minutes away. Can I come over? If he's got a girl over, he'll send her home. He'll just be like, hey, you got to get your stuff and go. And she'll be like, well, what? Why? Don't ask questions. Just get the hell out of here. You got to go. These are the kind of men that will be in your inner tribe, in your inner circle. They've got your back, you've got their back, you hold each other accountable, you hold yourself to high standards. Again, I've said this several times on my channel, but you're going to become the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Ideally, you want the best of the best in your inner circle. If you find that you're the smartest guy in that room and then the other 4 guys are kind of dumb, or they don't get a lot out of life, they don't get great success, they make terrible choices, and some of that stuff overflows into your life, then that tribe is a failure, basically. It's a failed tribe. You want to make sure that you're with men that hold each other accountable to high standards. And, men like this will joke around, we'll have fun with each other sort of thing. But at the end of the day, it's like a band of brothers. That's actually a good example. Go watch Band of Brothers. I think it was an HBO series. It was a really, really good Second World War series, basically, following these men that were kind of, marching across Europe to liberate Germany from Hitler sort of thing. But that would be probably one of the best examples of how men form these tribes. One of the things that I've noticed with a lot of military guys, guys that have camaraderie with other men, is they understand the value and the nature of tribes. It's one of the reasons why I like guys like that so much, is they understand and they value integrity, they value authenticity, they value a brotherhood. And as you kind of like go outside from the center of that tribe, and you can't have a woman or women on on the inner circle. She better be somebody that you can trust, that she essentially trusts you with her life. I think Rollo's great example was, he said something along the lines of, if you were to say to her, I just packed a parachute, I'm taking you skydiving, you're wearing this one, would she trust you with her life? Would she wear it? You know, that's the kind of chick that you could put on the inside circle. So it's fine to have that there, but the inner tribe should be a band of brothers for the most part. Now, moving outside of that circle, you know, concentrically from that ring to the next area, you're going to have the next group of guys that are in the next tribe. And as you kind of go out, the number of people in that tribe, they get bigger and bigger. There's going to be more of them. You're going to owe them less. They're going to owe you less. And you're just going to go about it that way. That's just the way that it is. You're going to give, like, somebody that's several concentric circles out from your inner tribe, if they showed up at your front door with a shovel and a body in the trunk, you'd call the cops, right? Just because, you know, they're not that close to you. So, you know, if I could use an example that might be more apparent to you guys that have watched my channel, you know that the 5 founding members of the Rule Zero group, those are guys that I've known, liked, and trusted for a long time. There's other guys outside of that that might be part of the extended family, and they might be part of the extended family for a long period of time. They may not. You know, they might go to a further concentric ring. But there's a chapter in my book which I should probably spend a minute talking about and why it's relevant and why I put it in there, because it is extremely significant. I tried to distill the book down as much as possible so that it wasn't going to take you forever to read, and it was just right down to the main points. But it's a chapter about hire slow and fire fast. And what that really means is take your time before you let somebody get close to you on the inside. And if they betray that trust, you push them further out very, very quickly. So you slowly let them in on the inside. Like, one of the things when I was talking to Jack about his land where he was basically running this gang, you know, he calls it, you know, the way of men is the way of the gang sort of thing, is like, typically when men form a gang or a tribe, for example, there's trials which they have to pass to become a member. It's the same sort of thing with the hire slowly and fire quickly. Let them prove themselves. If they show you that they're a risk or that they're a problem or that they can be problematic, get rid of them very quickly. Do not expose yourself, your family, or anybody on the inner circle to potential risk from people that don't value the tribes that you allow them into. Now, I'm not saying that you got to spend all kinds of time explaining this shit to people and drawing concentric rings on a chart and going through all that. This is something that you can have a conversation with the guys on the very inner circle, right on the bullseye, you know, if we're using that archery target as the example. But as the concentric rings get bigger and bigger, if there's somebody, you know, towards the middle, towards the outside, that betrays your trust, that clearly demonstrates that they're no longer trustworthy, or they could be problematic for you, then, you know, it might be something as simple as ghosting them. You know, you just lose their phone number. If they text or call you, you just don't respond. And that might be the way that you move them out of the position that they were previously in. But most guys sleepwalk through life on this, and they really don't pay enough attention to the importance of the way of men and the way of the gang. With that being said, the next question a lot of guys have is, cool, I like the idea, gonna go read the book, how do I form my own tribe? Well, there's some work that you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to be worthy of other men's trust in that inner circle. You really have to be somebody that embraces the traits of things like strength, courage, mastery, and honor. Like, these are the traits of true, strong, virtuous alpha males. You have to embrace, you have to be them. You can't fake it, right? There's different ways to do it. I often tell guys, there's a lot of places where you'll find men that will embrace this concept. Places like a dojo, right? So if you like combat sports, you can form a tribe of men in an area like that. You can do what Jack did and buy a plot of land and invite men to it, and, you know, have pagan rituals and stuff like that. You know, there's different ways to go about it, but the importance and the significance of it cannot and should not be dismissed by men in today's world. We live in a very, very strange time. I'm coming up on my late 40s right now, and I'm looking at a place and time where there's a lot of weak guys out there. Like, I'm talking so weak that they've got environmental estrogens in their bodies at levels that are so high, they're basically walking around with female breast tissue. This is not a good thing. it's going to be hard for you to find a group of men that you can trust and form a tribe with, that you will be able to hold accountable and also hold you accountable. So don't think that this is going to be easy. Talk to some guys, read Jack's books. If you're looking for something that's more online or virtual, what I would recommend is take a look at my men's community. That's also pinned in the top description. I think it's entrepreneursandcars.com/community. So you can check that out. There's 2 tiers. There's one tier, which is the basic level, where there's just, general conversation. You can see all the perks and all that stuff. I'm not going to break it down for you. And then the second tier is for business owners, so people that already have a business going that want to form a tribe with other guys so they can be held accountable that way. That's one way to do it in a virtual sort of fashion. So check those out if that's of interest to you. And I definitely highly highly recommend reading Jack's books. At the very minimum, read The Way of Men. He's got some other good ones too, like Becoming a Barbarian, and I believe he's got a brand new one coming out. But yeah, check all that out. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Smash the thumbs up button. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.